Welcome to the deep dive. Ever wondered how some of the really top-notch operations, consistently nail their weekly kickoffs? Like, how do they start the week for maximum impact?
Well, we've got a fascinating behind-the-scenes look for you today.
Yeah, our source material is this internal document. It's called a Monday Operational Kickoff Stewarding Excellence Briefing. And it's pretty packed with details aimed at supervisors who manage kitchen and back-of-house teams. So our mission, really, for this deep dive is to pull out those actionable insights, things about leadership, team management, operational efficiency, but the kind of stuff that goes beyond just the kitchen. You'll find some surprising nuggets here that could apply to, well, almost any team, any industry.
Absolutely. And what's really fascinating, I think, is how this document isn't just like a simple checklist. It blends these very specific practical tasks with a really powerful focus on human connection.
Yeah.
And continuous improvement. It's not just laying out what to do, but really how to build that culture of excellence. That's what stands out.
Okay, right. Let's unpack that a bit. So the week actually kicks off with this pretty detailed but clearly deliberate 15 to 20-minute session for the stewarding staff. And it seems built around clear, confident communication. Everything from a genuine welcome, showing appreciation, to sharing updates from leadership, reviewing upcoming events like banquets. They even re-emphasize the basics. Hygiene, safety, which is always crucial, isn't it? Especially in high-pressure spots.
Yeah, and what's really insightful is this pro tip they include. Keep the tone positive but laser-focused, and visualize key points on a whiteboard. That's not just, sharing info. It feels more like they're engineering a shared understanding, getting that collective buy-in right from the start, and make sure every message, whether it's gratitude or a safety reminder, actually lands properly.
Engineering understanding, I like that. So after that huddle, they immediately jump into reviewing the previous week. And this isn't just a critique session. It seems like a masterclass in building accountability and learning. They meticulously highlight the key wins. They give an example, like reducing breakage by 30%, which is significant. But they also tackle the problem areas, like delays in returning clean pans. And crucially, they follow up on outstanding issues, equipment repairs, things like that. It creates this kind of unbroken chain of responsibility.
That's a pretty classic strategy to review, but often you see those things turn into a bit of a blame game, right? How does this document make sure it stays focused on learning, on that shared accountability without, making the team feel defensive?
That's a great question. And that seems to be where the nuance comes in. It explicitly tells supervisors to get team input. Ask why issues happened. Ask how to prevent them next time. It shifts the focus, doesn't it? From blame towards collaborative problem solving. Shared ownership, really. Less about pointing fingers, more about pooling that collective wisdom.
Exactly. Okay, so after that crucial huddle and review, it shifts to physical readiness. Supervisors conduct this really thorough inspection, all kitchen and back-of-house areas, dishwashing stations, garbage rooms, chemical storage, everywhere. They're checking everything from sanitizer levels to proper PPE use, personal protective equipment, and making sure equipment is working right.
Right. And what seems kind of ingenious here is the explicit tip they include. Involve a team member in this inspection. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How often would just asking a team member to join that walk around catch something a supervisor might miss on their own? It definitely builds that shared responsibility, make sure everyone's eyes are kind of focused on the details.
Absolutely. It turns what could be a top-down check into more of a shared commitment. Okay, so once that's done, they clarify roles, assign zones. They might rotate tasks to avoid burnout, which is smart. But here's the real kicker, I think. They set 3 clear weekly goals with the team. Things like, say, reducing glass breakage by another 20%, or improving the time it takes to reset dishes for banquets. And these goals are then made visible, put up somewhere everyone can see them.
Yeah, if we connect this to the bigger picture, that's not just delegation, is it? It's shared goal setting. When the team actually has input and the goals are right there, visible, it creates that collective purpose. And isn't that often the missing ingredient in so many teams? That shared purpose beyond just, ticking off tasks.
Precisely. It definitely moves the needle from just my task to our collective mission. But here's where it gets really interesting, I think, especially for leadership growth. Active listening. Throughout the day, supervisors are actually prompted, the document says, to ask each steward one specific question. Something like, what's one thing you think we can do better this week? Or maybe, is there anything making your job harder that we could possibly fix?
And actually taking notes on those answers, even seemingly small things like needing extra gloves or clearer labels on bins, that really shows the team their input actually matters, doesn't it? It builds trust, a sense of value beyond just doing the job. And this commitment to listening is then followed up. There's an end-of-day reflection for the supervisors. They're prompted to actually write down what they learned from their team that day and what went well. It feels like a closed-loop system for improvement.
Yeah, a feedback loop built right in. Very smart.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener? This deep dive into a, let's be honest, quite specific stewarding excellence briefing, it reveals a surprisingly powerful blueprint, a blueprint for impactful weekly kickoffs that manage to prioritize both the tasks and the people. It really is a masterclass in deliberate communication, shared accountability, and continuous improvement.
And if we connect this back to the bigger picture, that emphasis on active listening, asking those questions that empower the team to find solutions, coupled with that end-of-day reflection for the supervisors themselves, it really shows a deep commitment, a commitment to growth, not just hitting performance targets. Which I think raises a really important question for everyone listening. How might adopting even just one of these structured yet human-centric approaches transform your next Monday morning kickoff? Regardless of your team or your industry,